hope all is well with you coming into closing out the end of this week. And no, there wasn't immediately notifications came out to alert you, but I knew that needed to come in and update you on as we moving into the new moon and concluding out the fact that we are in Aquarius season, moving out of Capricorn, and so much more. So it's an interesting time that we're in. Very interesting time as we move into an energy of courage and how this Friday is the lead in into the new moon. It's a lead in into the new moon. So while I'm sharing that, if you are signed up to the website, you would have gotten the link in the email about joining the altar visual new moon that will be occurring coming up. So if you're interested in that, you can read the description box about the Aquarius new moon welcome, and then you will get a chance to see that. Okay, so I'm going to post it in the chat here, and I'm going to pin it here. We won't be real long because I just want to sum up thus far. Hey there, welcome. I want to just sum up thus far of what we have been talking about and what the spirit guides and everything has been sharing with us coming into this new energy, this new moon, this hey there, this new moon, this new season of Aquarius, also coming into and that's happy. I mean, I'm Sunny. That's Sunny barking in the back. Y'all hear him around this time. Also dealing with our new moon coming in, a lot of the unstuck information that's been coming in for the week and how it is aligning itself with where we are today. So from Tuesday, we talked about nature, about getting into your natural state and knowing who you are. And then the Aquarius video also goes over finding your your way and finding who you are. Okay, so that's one other area that is important. Okay, so we want to make sure that what you've been hearing from the spirit guides from Tuesday till now, how is it aligning itself with you? How are you taking the information and applying it into your life? So talk to me about that if you want to share here in the chat. What is it, one area that stands out to you before we get into tomorrow's live and talking about the new moon reading, and we're in a new moon coming over this weekend? How do you feel so far over the week and what you have been learning? We talked about nature. Tell me anything that's still sticking out to you and that is what you're working on. So is there something that's sticking out to you, Melba or Chris, that we've been talking about this week that have been showing up in your life? And those that see the replay, welcome. I know it's kind of on delay a little bit how it comes in. So is there anything that sticks out for this week in the unstuck information? Anything that's sticking out to you? Even talked about friendship. Okay, so today in the process of this, I will pull a card for concluding this week's Unstuck. Okay, and as we move in tomorrow into a new moon reading and so much more. So I'm gonna pull it from the spirit animals, see what they have to say. What do you have to say as we conclude in this Unstuck You card? What do you have to conclude for those that's here and in the replay? What is the conclusions? Ego, friendship and working less. Yes, good. Thank you for thinking through, Chris. Thank you for joining Patreon. Thank you. And there's already something up already. Okay. So what the conclusion comes to is mastery. Spirit never fails. So to give us conclusions. So the conclusions about the unstuck is what you said, friendship and working less. Yes. And you're welcome. The other thing is the energy is coming through ego. So what the ego is saying, mastery, when we coming through for the conclusion of this week, getting unstuck and then moving. So you are on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You are guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. So as you've come into we come into a conclusion about getting unstuck, right? Is that your spiritual journey is beyond this realm, is beyond the sky, is beyond this atmosphere, this hemisphere. It goes way past those satellites that's way out there past, I forget one of the other levels in the atmosphere. I can't, metasphere. I believe that's the name. And so we have different where there's no air, okay? And they're saying it's way past that. I believe that's metasphere and earth science, okay? And that helps you to move forward, to soar. And you're guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world, okay? So what you know will help the world beyond this world when it goes past the sky. It's beyond, your wisdom goes beyond this realm and more when you've come through the conclusions of mastery and what it is to become unstuck, okay? And then one more, we have miracles. So in the process of the mastery, okay, of conclusion, then it brings in the hummingbird is saying miracles, okay? So you are the joy bringer. You bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars on your shining wings. Spread the miracle of happiness. Spread the miracle of happiness. Okay, so this is another conclusion. So we come into a conclusion. We have mastery, concluding the unstuck. And then we have in the conclusion, miracles come through for your happiness. Miracles come through for your happiness. And I believe it was last week that we talked about miracles, right? We talked about that miracles can happen. They still exist in whatever miracle is for you, okay? And it is okay to still believe in the power of something miraculous happening in your life in this earth. It's okay to still believe that. We know that the world doesn't, maybe concur in the miraculous or the miracles, but the hummingbird is saying it is there. It is there. And then the eagle is saying because of your mastery. Life is this conclusion of the unstuck. And as we move into tomorrow and the new moon, keep working on mastery. Keep working on that. Don't let up on mastering some of the areas that will bring you to the unstuck. Keep working on it. Never give up on working on that, even when you don't understand. Continue to work in the mastery and understanding more about you. Even when you can get discouraged or detoured in any kind of way, always I can go back to that video. Hey there, I can go back to, hey there, I can go back to that video and say, okay, the conclusion said, the conclusion of the unstuck, welcome, and the replay crew, welcome. It says the conclusion of the unstuck is mastery, right? I know Showstopper, you just getting in or just getting a chance to make a comment, but it's saying you're beyond. Mastery is here of the conclusion of the unstuck and miracles, but keep working on your mastery. Keep being, because it's beyond the manosphere. All right. I'm just going back over that for those that just seeing me coming in. And your wisdom inspires the world, not just this world, the outer worlds, because You come from an outer world, everyone. You're not just a being that was placed here. You come from another whole different spiritual realm. Okay. And so that information comes with you. And even throughout the way you may was born, wherever way you were born, if you were born where you still not with your parents, or you were born and you still was with your parents, or maybe in your life you were born and you was, placed in someone else's care. Okay, it still means that you came with some world information beyond this earth realm. And you don't have to accept whatever things that has happened to you to be your absolute. You don't have to, because you have the ability to be in mastery over the unstuck. Okay, and that can be supernaturally what we talked about last week. And today the hummingbirds are saying the miracles come in to say that you can be miraculously healed and miraculously receive your mastery, because of the fact that it is saying that you have released to be unstuck in some matters. But continue to trust in your mastery. I see you saying, sorry about Sonny. He's in the other room. He's barking. I don't want to get up and be rude and walking out and that. Okay, so yeah, Melba said it's hard to get unstuck when you feel like you've always been stuck. Yes, that's correct. It can be. It can be very hard. But it's you have to try to take yourself out of that feeling of being in the mercury, like not mercury the plant, but murky energy. You have to say it to yourself and tell yourself. That's when you're saying, what did you get out of this week? And we were saying, what did we learn, right? So you're saying yes, and many will say that it is hard to get unstuck when you feel like you've always been stuck. It's somewhere where you have to decide in your inner self to say, you know what? I don't want to feel like I have to feel like I am stuck. It's kind of little simplistic things that you have to say to yourself. Give yourself the grace enough to tell yourself that. And in my experience, is to give yourself that where you could say, okay, I give myself a certain season to give myself that amount of time to tell myself you're moving out of being unstuck. So let's say today we're now in winter season and we're in Aquarius season as of now. Hopefully you can hear me over Sunny. You can, he'll stop barking in the morning. You can go and say, okay, I'm going to shoot for the summer of summer equinox. Let's say in June, summer equinox. You can make a pact with yourself to say, I'm going to make a pact with myself that I'm going to feel unstuck in some areas by this point, by this use day point. Okay, and then write that out. And then, okay, thank you. You can hear me. And then try that strategy. Okay, and write it down. Seriously, write it down. Give yourself that strategy and write it down. And then give yourself grace enough to allow that kind of energy to dissipate. Okay, it will dissipate from you. It's just like I don't know the best illustration, but I'm going to say it for me. Okay, I'll give you an illustration. It's sometimes when we have a loved one that passes away in the physical realm, right? And over time, whether people believe it or not, the pain, the emotional pain of the person transitioning tends to dissipate. It rise at different seasons, but it tends to dissipate. The emotion and the pain and the feeling of how you felt will dissipate. So if you could use that as maybe a help to understand that you can get that emotion out, and that expression of feeling like that, it can happen. It can happen. Okay? Okay, thank you. So let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know. And I'm glad, Chris, that you learned that friendship and working less through the unstuck you is an important part. Dealing with making friends in some kind of way, and there is levels to friendship. You don't have to be on an island alone. And even though it's hard dealing with other people, it is not easy to deal with other people, let alone your own inner three selves, right? So making friends and whatever that is best to just set an intention and ask for what kind of relationships, and that's all. What kind of relationship that will add value to you, and what kind of relationship that you can add value to them. Okay. And then in the working less part is quality over quantity. So too much of something doesn't mean it's bringing more of something. And the world that we live in, there's always the goalpost is moved. Okay. So because that's the way it's designed to keep you running after something. You might come to that realization. I don't know. But I know that they move it, and then you're still trying to say, okay, I'm gonna make more to do this. And then you find out in time, it's like, wow, does that ever end in this realm? No. So it's something that we have to ask the divine to help us in this realm to have a balance and boundaries on how we work and give and balance. Because if you're giving too much over here, you're going to lose connections with children, family, parents, husbands, wives, partnerships, and then you'll see that you can't get that affected time back anymore. You can't get back lost relationships due to not having boundaries or balance. Okay? And that's something that we all have to be acknowledge it, because we work in a systems that that is not really securing the community, you know? But we are moving into a energies the next decades that it will be functionable on community, as Aquarius moves in, and how Pluto will be in Aquarius for quite some time to destabilize again, like he was destabilizing before he has, still in retrograde, kind of chilling right now until he moves into that other constellation coming up in March to destabilize again, so that way that earth is moving into a common denominator of kindness and humankind. Okay, and as the earth is still in retrograde, revisiting its issues as well. Okay, anybody got anything to say? Anybody got anything to say about that? And then we're gonna go in 1 minute so y'all can get into y'all day. Anybody have anything to say about that? You're on spot. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that, Chris, for letting me know that. Yeah, it's definitely something that we're working on as a family and as a community and as human beings. I'm looking down at the other screen that we, really have to work through, and we are. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You have a great day too. All right. Well, everybody thank you for the offering, Chris. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your Friday as we enter the new moon. And, continue to grow and get your mastery and your miracles, the 2 M's today. Contact me for your personalized readings, so much more. I enjoy bringing this information to you. It's for all of us as a community. And continue to do your best and be, you know, be one day at a time on yourself, one moment at a time on yourself. Okay? I'll see you later.